Actually had a fifth video last night, but ended up deleting it. I could have just edited the last 3 minutes off, but all we really did was kind of review chapter 6. Just kind of read up. I've got a bookmark for where I read to. It's really the main note that I kept. Installing the Connect Flash module. So I'll just have to make episode 40 where I pick up at. But, I didn't really do anything with the code. I just kind of read over what's in the book. So I'm just starting off this morning with updating my notes from yesterday. Let's see, so I'll re-record 40. I'll pick up there, so this will be 39 we just did. Just going up from the bottom of the page. So there's 1, 2, 3. I hope it makes sense why I've spent so much time on this in the beginning now. I already uploaded these to Twitch last night, and right before bedtime pasted these same block paragraphs onto the Twitch account. So that should be good. Got all 4 of these. Let's do the advanced real quick. This might be a bug. I may send that in to their team. It didn't come up this time. It usually has maybe I'm just trying to do it too soon. Maybe if I give more time to finish processing. I don't care about location. Recorded yesterday. Was it? Yeah, they're all recorded yesterday. Counting Twitch TV as television, but no closed caption. And the basics. Add it to the playlist. Tags. They're still in Mongoose. It's in English. Allow viewers to contribute translated titles, descriptions, and subtitles. Allow viewers. Let's see. I don't know if that pops up every time I try to do English and allow. It says video link. Oh, because I took it off. Allow viewers to contribute translated titles, and then it'll say video language must be set, but that's video language and it's set to English. So I don't know what your deal is. Get it together, YouTube. I think I've published some that had that exclamation mark before. I tried to. I don't remember if they went through or not. Seems like once I tried it and they went through, and then the next time I tried it and they didn't go through. Couldn't save changes. Please review your details. I might have the sniffles today. Hasn't really bothered me that bad until I just thought about it coming through the mic. I mean, they're not like horrible. Not feeling sick. Probably just some allergy. I'm just gonna leave these off till he fixes it. I'm tired of clicking and unclicking. I've been putting Mongoose. I think we're out of Mongoose. Nope, chapter 5. We're still in Mongoose. I guess just that last one. We finally got into chapter 6, maybe. Passport. Yeah, this one will be Mongoose. This one will be Mean. Meeb. Mean. Could almost leave that. Perfectionist kind of thing. Mongoose. Passport. What else? Did you fix it yet? Nope. No. Alright. I think it's all good. Except for that one advanced. I'll have to change it. Alright. Playlist is up to date. I already uploaded them to Twitch. I didn't mean to kill my music. I just wanted a different front tab. And that front tab should be going to our book. So we can read up on Passport. 8 minutes, alright. It's all part of the workday, part of the flow. We're actually making pretty good time, and I've been calling this midweek, but I forgot we're doing a 6-day week for the template. Show a little more so we can see that, and we can play all these. Check the volume, it should be down. Okay. I got a yellow bar. What's that all about? That's weird. Okay. Back on track here. Let's go to File, Show Recordings. These are all from yesterday. Nope, that one's from today. That's the one we're recording right now. It's just a 10:05. Yep, 9 minutes ago. That's when we started this recording. These are the 4 that we just put the notes on from yesterday, so we'll get those out of the workflow. Okay. And this we read down to, what did our notes say? Did we already closed the notes? Oh, we read this. I read this in our deleted video. I could have clipped the last 3 minutes off, but I didn't. had some security, so I exposed some security stuff, but we didn't really cover anything important. Debated on, I deleted chapter 3 code. I debated on running chapter 6, and then realized there was no chapter 6 code. I think I read through this too. I didn't check it off, but I think I read through it. I checked that one off, I read through this, and I started reading into here. Understanding local strategy, passport local, install, configure passport's local strategy. I think this is where I spent most of my time. The code snippets are getting longer. We're adding a little more logic. Username, password, and done. Yeah, but we go back to that empty file we created. This one wasn't. Just barely goes off. Serialize user. Deserialize user. The preceding code snippet. The passport serialize user and passport deserialize user methods are used to define how passport will handle user serialization. Adapting the user model. Email type string. Validate password. I think that's what we're... Oh, there it is. Salt and provider. Provider data. Pre-save. This password, this salt buffer crypto random bytes to string base 64. This password hash password. User schema methods hash password. Return crypto 25 sync password. This salt 1064 to string base 64. Return this password, this hash password. Statistics, find unique username. Callback. Yeah, this is where I spent most of my time last night. It's like it's already a long page, and then we get into some long code blocks. There's a lot of logic going on in there, but as long as you understand it, that's the important part. Because at some point your default template's not going to be exactly what you want, and you'll want to know where all the gears are turning together. You can think of these as gears, but as one piece snaps into another, you might want it to turn a little differently next time. Return this find unique username suffix or 0 plus 1 callback. Else callback null. User schema set to JSON. Getter's true, virtual's true. Let's go over these changes. First, you added 4 fields to your user schema object. Assault property, which you'll use to hash your password. Provider property, which will indicate the strategy used to register the user. A provider ID property, which will indicate the user identifier for the authentication strategy. And a provider data property, which you'll later use to store the user object retrieved from OAuth providers. Next, you created some pre-save middleware to handle the hashing of your user's passwords. It is widely known that storing a clear text version of your user's passwords is a very bad practice that can result in the leakage of your user's passwords. To handle this issue, your pre-save middleware performs 2 important steps. First, it creates an auto-generated pseudo-random hashing salt, and then it replaces the current user password with a hashed password using the hash password instance method. You also added 2 instance methods, a hash password instance method, which is used to hash a password string by utilizing Node.js crypto module, and an authenticate instance method, which accepts a string argument, hashes it, and compares it to the current user's hashed password. Finally, you added the find unique username static method, which is used to find an available unique username for new users. You'll use this method later in this chapter when you deal with OAuth authentication. That completes the modifications in your user model, but there are a few other things to take care of before you can test your application's authentication layer. Creating the authentication views. Alright. Yeah, we kind of reviewed this too, and then we ran out of time. Got 10 minutes. Just as with any web application, you will need to have sign up and sign in pages in order to handle. I feel like I may even got through most. We'll keep going. I feel like I may have got through most of this. Messages, yep. For the sign in, sign up. Because I read it last night, I'm kind of going through it quick. Point's not to read the book for you, it's to document me getting through the book. Modifying the user's controller. To alter the user's controller, go to your user server controller.js file and change its contents as follows. Case 1100, no, 11,000, case 11,001. Username already exists, something went wrong. If not requested user, response, render, sign in. Title, I think this is just setting that variable. That's one thing I looked at last night. These are I think these are EJ6 embedded JavaScript tags. So that's interpreting a variable that's equal to title for that tag. And I think we're setting that variable right there, sign in form. It's the title of that HTML page when it renders would be sign in form. The messages, yeah, because the messages go into a loop. Or request flash info, request flash error, else return response redirect. Exports render sign up function. There again, title sign up form. So it is a variable sign in form, sign up form. And so it's setting the title and the message variable for these views. Because depending on which way it branches, that'll be different. And this will be different. But a lot of this other stuff will be the same. Now that you have your model and views set, it's time to connect them using your, right here. As you can see, the sign in Embedded JavaScript view is even simpler and also contains an HTML form, an EJS tag which renders the title variable, and an EJS loop which renders the messages list variable. Now that you have your model and views set, it's time to connect them using your user's controller. Modifying the user's controller. To alter the user's controller, go to your user's controller. Users, server, controller. File and change its contents as follows. And then another big code block. Okay, that's right through here. That's the whole point. I don't want you. I want you in the middle of the screen, and then the top of the screen. Okay. Constant function get error messages. Let. I think that's the first time I've seen let in these code blocks. Message equal blank. If error code, switch error code. So it's setting up a switch. Username already exists. Something went wrong. Fuck, we were. We just read over a lot of this. I'm trying to see. Oh, it's adding the flash messages, I think. The get error message method is a private method that returns a unified error message from a mongoose error object. It is worth noticing that there are two possible errors here. A Mongo database indexing error handled using the error code, and a mongoose validation error handled using the errors object. The next two controllers methods, so I think what they're adding is the fork and the error handling. They added a, I'm trying to see what's bolded. It doesn't really pop out that well to me. It's like it needs a heavier bolding, or I need new eyes. To me, it kind of looks like it's right there. But surely there's more to it than that. Not that it needs to be a big piece of code, that just doesn't read like it. The fork. This is not the fork you're looking for. Exports sign out function. That actually looks like it. Maybe they just added that at the bottom. You can do a compare if we really need to track it down. Get error message method. You can do a compare to make it stand out. Is that? Depending on where I hold my head, different lines look like they're highlighted more. I think it's in this exports here. Yeah, right here. I think it's this. It's exporting two different types of error messages. Response return. They're both doing a redirect back to here. Export sign up. Exports render sign up. It's a private method that returns a unified error message from a mongoose error object. It is worth noticing that there are two possible errors here. A mongoose validation error handled using the exports. Get error message. Okay, so it's setting the errors up here. So alright. The next two controller methods are quite simple and will be used to render the sign in and sign up pages. The sign out method is also simple and uses the required logout method, which is provided by the passport module to invalidate the authenticated session. The sign up method. Okay. Sign up. Sign up method. Sign out method. The sign up method uses your user model to create new users. As you can see, it first creates a user object from the HTTP request body, then try saving it to MongoDB. If an error occurs, the sign-up method will use the getErrorMessage method to provide the user with an appropriate error message. If the user creation was successful, the user session will be created using the required login method. The required login method is exposed by the passport module and it is used to establish a successful login session. After the login operation is completed, a user object will be signed to the request user object. Note, the required login method will be called automatically while using the passport authenticate method, so a manual call for required login is primarily used when registering new users. The preceding code, though a module you're not familiar with is used, when an authentication process is failing, it is common to redirect the request back to the sign up or sign in pages. This is done here when an error occurs, but how can your user tell what exactly went wrong? The problem is that when redirecting to another page, you could not pass variables to that page. The solution is to use some sort of mechanism to pass temporary messages between requests. Yeah, I'm over 25. Thought I was. Just kind of lost my focus there. We're halfway down the page, and let's see. Displaying flash error messages. We'll take that as our note. No, we didn't get there. We'll take modifying the user controller. We'll mark that in the notes as what we got to, and then break the episode. Made yeah, the weather's nice today. I need to get some yard work done for customers, so I may make this my only episode and then do a hard reboot. Actually, just shut it down for the day. Just gonna redo. Okay, I just got a little bit further. This is what I read in last night's episode. It's installing the Connect Flash module. Modify. Oh, did that backwards. It's fine. So I actually read down a little bit further last night, I think. So really, we didn't get to this today. We almost did. Just do this. Understanding passport strategies. We've been looking at the local one. We haven't really got to the flash yet. Ah, I'm making this too complicated. bam, that's where we got to. Stop the video.